world and welcome to Elevated Intuition. I'm Amy and I'm here to talk today about releasing and letting things go. In 2020, in astrology right now, in my readings right now, there have been so many messages about letting things go, letting things flow, releasing things that no longer serve you, letting go of toxic relationships, toxic thoughts, patterns that we continue to do day after day after day. And we don't really know why, we're just doing it. And then kind of reframing that and thinking about it, like, why is this happening? Why are we doing these things? Does it really serve us? So that's what we're talking about. And I just want to say that this is a timeless message. Anytime that you feel like you should be letting something go, or you feel heavy, or you feel stuck and you're not really sure why, it's time to think about what kind of emotional baggage are you carrying with you? What kind of beliefs are holding you back because you're just carrying those things around? What ways of doing things that you do every day is no longer serving you, whether that's a job or a relationship, or just a belief that you've just always had, and now you're examining it and wondering why you have that belief. So I have a tarot reading down below, and you can skip ahead to that at any point if that's why you're here. Otherwise, I'm about to go on a little bit of a rant on letting things go and how to do that. And I had like an exercise that I did recently that was really uplifting, I guess would be a good way to say it. And it really worked well for me. So I wanted to share that as well. So there's kind of like 4 things involved in letting something go. First, you have to decide what it is that you're letting go. So many times we don't even realize that we have a toxic belief, or that, that Coke that we drink every day is adding calories that we really don't need. And if we replaced it with water, it would make a big difference. So that's number 1. What is it that you need to let go? Some things are a little bit more obvious than others, like it's a toxic relationship that you just need to get out of. Your friends and your family have been telling you this. You know deep down inside that you should do this. But sometimes it's a little bit deeper than that, that there are some thoughts like, I don't want to let this go because I feel like nobody's ever going to love me. And then we have to drill down into that and let that go to let the whole relationship go. So first thing is decide what it is that you need to let go. And sometimes you just need to meditate on that, or just say, you know what, I'm just in a rut right now and I need to let something go. Something isn't serving me anymore. And let your subconscious think about that. If you sleep on something, let your subconscious mind work on it. What really works for me is going for a walk, just connecting with nature, kind of getting my mind out of that. And then all of a sudden I start, having this idea and this idea and this idea. As an example, I will give you, recently I discovered that I had a toxic belief that I can't do push-ups. Now, it's just a tiny belief, something that when I drilled down, I realized that an elementary school teacher told me that the first time ever that I tried to do push-ups. And it was just one of those little things that I didn't really even realize that I believed about myself that I am letting go now. And it has kind of manifested in a way now that I'm having a little bit of health issues, that if I had developed like some more upper body strength, that I wouldn't be having right now. So that's just one example of like something that is kind of surprising, but it's something that no longer served me and I should let it go. So the second thing is, once you decide what it is that you need to let go, you kind of investigate where that came from and why you continue to believe it. Now, in my situation, that's really easy because I continued to believe it because I was told that as a child, and I can rationally think about that now and let it go. Other things are a little bit harder when we're talking about relationships, and maybe you are the person who told yourself that years ago, and you need to just kind of reinvestigate that belief. And you're a different person now. Don't believe that person from the past. Believe the person from right now, okay? So what is it? Why are we believing this thing? Do we get something out of this belief? Do we get something out of the belief that I need caffeine in the morning, otherwise I can't function? Is that really true? Probably not. I could probably replace it with water and be okay. So there's, sometimes letting go of things are hard just because of where they come from. And we kind of have to investigate where they come from. The third thing, and I've already kind of hinted at this, is reframing it. So if this is something that I believed, and this is why I believed it, is it true still? Can I shift my belief around that? Can I reframe that belief? If I'm in this toxic relationship because I believe that nobody will love me, and I believe that because of something terrible I've been telling myself, do I need to love myself first? Something like that. So reframing it in a different way, and like, what are you learning from this situation? Because a lot of times we need to get that lesson out, to grow and let it go. And then finally, and apparently this is supposed to be easy to do, however, I don't always find it that easy to do, is then once you investigate those things, is then just decide, hey, it's no longer serving me, and see you later, belief, I'm letting you go. So those are the things that, the steps that you can kind of go through for that. And I will do, like I said, I will do a whole reading, and we'll get a little bit more in depth maybe to your personal things and things that you can do to help yourself. But I do want to share something that was just really enlightening and really, really helpful for me recently. So on Facebook, I was just going through that things were just making me angry, or it was wasting my time, or it was just stuff that was like, didn't no longer serve me anymore. And some of it was even like, I used to be into day trading. I loved day trading. It was really great. So I followed a bunch of people who were day trading, and I also followed companies that I traded. So I had all of these things show up in my feed. And they're not bad things. They aren't, some of them were doing like really interesting and fun, like the traders were having some really interesting conversations still. But it's not how I define myself anymore. That's not what I do anymore. So just unsubscribing to all that stuff. I let it go. And I went into my, my email, and I unsubscribed to newsletters that I used to get on financial news and things like that. That's not something that I'm into right now. That's not something that I'm doing right now. It doesn't need to clutter my space. I need to let it go to attract things that I am doing right now. I need, and a lot of that, when we're talking about your emails that you get, is just so time consuming, and I do not have time to go through all this financial news, but I also don't have time to have it pop up, all this clutter pop up in my feed and Facebook, in my emails. I just let it go. The other thing is, when I started unsubscribing to things and getting off of certain lists, and it brought up other things I didn't think it would bring up. So I used to work in the fashion industry, and there were certain brands, Victoria's Secret, that I followed for whatever reason. And I'm not gonna buy anything from Victoria's Secret. I have no problem with Victoria's Secret. It's just not my thing right now. So, but it also brought up some memories of when I worked in the fashion industry and like a boss that was just really terrible and horrid there. And I just realized that, I'm still mad at her. That was over 10 years ago. Why? I don't care. She has 0 impact in my life right now, and that's for a reason. I forgive you. There's no reason to be angry. You have no impact on my life. I'm very, very happy about that. So it just brought up some other things that I didn't even realize was baggage that I'm not going to take that into 2021. I'm not even going to take that into next week. I don't want that anymore. I feel so much lighter. And the funny thing is I felt this like in my stomach, like this agitation in my stomach. And then when I was like, unsubscribe, then I was like, I felt so much lighter. So that's my story on letting go, and let's get into some tarot readings. I hope you guys have found that valuable. If you like it, let me know. Comment down below. I might do some more intros like this. If not, well, guess what? I have the timestamps down below. You could have skipped ahead at any point. So thank you guys, and we will do some readings now. Hello again, everyone. So I have the reading set up as promised. I want to point out that I have a white candle and a blue candle burning for us. The white one is for protection, new beginnings, purity, truth, peace, harmony, calming the mind. And the blue candle is for emotional healing, communication, also harmony and peace of mind. And I think when we're talking about releasing things, communication with that blue candle is important because you sometimes need to tell people how you feel and advocate for yourself what you need. But that's not just other people. That is communication with yourself. And coming into this thinking that, we may not even know exactly what we need. We just know we need to change. We know we need to move forward from where we are. And then, of course, peace, harmony, those things is something that that I want all of us to be able to gain from this reading. Again, the timestamps are down below. I will tell you a little bit more here about the piles and the crystals. So the first pile, this is Citrine. I picked Citrine because Citrine releases deep-seated fears, negative feelings, anger, destructive tendencies, let go of self-limiting thoughts, and move forward with optimism. Pile 2 is Rose Quartz. So Rose Quartz is, it often represents love, but in this particular reading, it's here to purify and open up our heart. Replace toxic emotions and blockages that clog our heart chakra, and replace that with unconditional love and acceptance. And that unconditional love is for ourselves. And then finally, group 3, last but not least, this is Black Obsidian. Black Obsidian is to close old doors of negativity and allow new doors to open. It encourages letting go of the past. So pick your pile and I will meet you there. Hello, pile 1. If you picked the Citrine, you are in the right spot. Let's see what cards got pulled. So I'm going to start off with these 2 oracle cards, and we have Passion and Solar Plexus Chakra. Let's start with Passion. The frequency of passion reminds us that beneath every intense emotion lies the hidden gem of insight, balance, and calm. It assists us in finding the balance within the intensity, moving us from chaos to calm, to the calm of its core, where we can let its long-lasting wisdom fill us up. So I almost feel like you might be in a relationship that, passion is a really, really great thing, but if you're in a relationship where you're just like, it's really super intense, and some people thrive off these relationships, but it does not need to be such a conflict. So if you are in a relationship that's a conflict, it is talking about, pulling back on that passion, finding the core of it. Too much, it's almost a lot of balance too, because it talks about balance and calm here, that there is at the core of passion, balance and calm. But it can be super, super intense sometimes in toxic relationships that are just, if somebody is making you feel just all these crazy, intense emotions, that's not healthy, that's not right. And you may think that a relationship should be like that. That's also an unhealthy belief. Anna's Psychology, I will link it down below. She does really, really great psychology videos and a lot of really great relationship psychology videos, that you don't need this just this really intenseness about a relationship. That relationship should not be hard, that they should be easy. And that is not just a relationship, that's not just a romantic relationship, although most of the ones that, because somebody really like gets you emotionally overwhelmed in a certain way, you have to let them in so far. But that could also be, maybe one of your parents gets you that way, or a sibling just is like, it's really unhealthy, and for whatever reason, and thinking about that passion, like passion is good, but if it is something that just does not make you feel well, that, let's go to the solar plexus chakra, that in the pit of your stomach hurts you, that is not healthy. That's not healthy passion. And it's pulling back and reframing that relationship and stepping back from it. So solar plexus chakra, the frequency of the solar plexus chakra, the yellow flower of life, supports our sense of self, our personal power, our willpower, as well as our knowing of who we are and what our contribution is to the whole. So let's talk about your sense of self. I love this this like center here, this like keep going there to that center, that's you and radiating that passion, but in a positive way and not a negative way, and receiving that passion back in a positive way, not a negative way. The reason I talked about the like feeling in your stomach with this solar plexus chakra is because the solar plexus chakra is like this, rules the stomach and the kidneys and the liver and the adrenal glands. And okay, so I was talking about that feeling in the pit of your stomach, and it's really interesting about that is, do you know that the second largest concentration of serotonin in your body is in your stomach? So that's why a lot of times we feel emotions there. We talk about that gut feeling, that intuition coming from there. So if you have there's something off with a relationship, it's not the way it should be, it makes you feel something in the pit of your stomach, you are probably right about that. Willpower and confidence. So if something is not right with your confidence, we need to work on that as well. Let's get some cards out here. Okay, the World. So what I want you to know with the World card is just a beautiful, absolutely, take a look at this. She's on the beach. She's letting her hat fly. She's just in a really great spot. The World is also a completion card. So if you are going through something, or, 2020 is one of those years, when I'm recording this, but again, this is a timeless message, that the things that happen, like, it is just bringing up old stuff. Like, something may not have even happened in 2020, but something happened to bring up an old memory, an old thought. Just know that this is the completion of that. Once you let it go, it's gone, and you're going to be living your best life and of happiness and fulfillment. The world is just there for you. But the Eight of Swords, you can see this. So something is making you feel restricted. I love this card in particular for the Eight of Swords. I don't know if you can see it, but there's this tiny little bird on this sword. The other thing that you should know with the Eight of Swords is that you're feeling restricted, but the restrictions that you have are your personal restrictions. She actually has in her hand the ties in her hand. So when she decides to walk away, when she decides to get out of here, she can get out of here. Now, going back to this bird, it always, and this card in particular from this deck, reminds me of the saying, and I absolutely love it, about birds, where somebody's observing them and they're like, I've always wondered that if a bird could fly anywhere in the world, why are they trapped here? And then, like, I always wonder that about myself, because you can fly and you can go anywhere in the world. Why are you stuck here? Why are you stuck in a place where your passions, like somebody gets you so angry and upset? Why are you letting somebody get a knot in your stomach? And that somebody might be you. It might be a belief, okay? But the key to this, the goal to this, and where you should be, there we go, let's turn my arm here, is the Four of Wands. Wands is celebration. Wands is being with friends. Wands is a moment where you look around and you realize all of the great things that you have accomplished and been through, and recognize that and love that about yourself and love that about your friends. This could be a birth, a wedding. This could be, we're coming up on Christmas, but if you're watching this after that point, this is getting together with people who love you. And these are not people, these are people who love and support you. So if you are in a relationship where somebody is just driving you crazy, that's not the way that it should be. And you have a beautiful support system here that is ready, willing, and open to help you. And I have a couple more cards here. We have the Two of Cups and Death. Okay, so these are actually both very, very good cards, even though this is a little cryptic, but you know, enjoy the artwork. It's very pretty. So the Two of Cups is relationships, and it's love as well. It's partnership. So, but it is a very positive partnership. It is a give and take partnership. It is, oh my gosh, this just popped into my head. When I got out of a super toxic relationship and was ready to find my soulmate, and it was like around Christmas time, I just remember that my only wish was to find somebody who would love me as much as I love them. That it's this give and take, that it's everybody in that relationship who wants to be there, that they are both giving 100%, that a relationship is not 50-50, it's 100%. Both people are in. And if you are in a relationship right now that's making you feel restricted because you have either given so much and you just feel like overwhelmed with these emotions and you've got this knot in your stomach, that's not a give and take relationship. Letting that go, making that change, first of all, you are worthy of love. That's what this card is all about too. So if you're feeling like you're not, and that's what's keeping you in a toxic relationship or a toxic frame of thought, you are absolutely. And the Death card is about change. Like when you make that positive change, the universe, the world goes with you. it's with you, it steps with you. And when you let go of something that's no longer serving you, like a toxic relationship, a toxic frame of thought, you open up a space for something else, something wonderful to come in. When you define it in the way that I did, where I was like, you know what, I just want a relationship where somebody will love me as much as I love them. Like, you put that intent out there. You just say, you're just like, hey, wind, I'm gonna like whisper this into this hat and let it go and let the universe take control and find it from there. Things will start moving in that direction. When you let something toxic go, other doors open. All right, so then I have 3 of these cards for us. And she who surrenders, Estefania, chains, bondage, release. And what's really interesting about this card is it talks about, she's got a letter here from like a past lover who just was not very good to her. And it's like every time she reads that, she breaks her heart over and over again, and she stays in that moment, and she is bound to that moment, and she's just hurting herself over and over again. And this is about releasing that bondage, releasing those chains. Same here as the 8 of Swords. You have that in your hand. You have that in your capability, because look at this. She who grants wishes, wish, desire, hope. And the person who grants your wishes is you. You are the world. I wish I could have a better relationship. I wish that I could do this. I wish that I could do that. Guess what? All of those wishes that you're putting out there, just start taking steps towards that. Start putting that out there, letting your friends know that that's what you want, letting the universe know that those are your wishes, and you will be able to grant those things for yourself. And then finally, she who waits, patience, waiting, determination. Okay, I feel like once you let this go, you're not going to be waiting too long. And I feel like this is kind of like a waiting position here as well. Patience, waiting, determination. Determination, I think, is really the key word there. That to be determined to really just move past this toxic passion. Reframe that passion in a good way so that you find the partnership or the support that you really need. Okay, and then final 2 cards here, seasonal harvest and tears of joy and sadness. So let's talk about the tears of joy and sadness. That tears are a release. They're a release. And that's what we really are looking for and wanting here, right? We want to release things that are no longer serving us. We want that cathartic moment to let it go, let it flow, and nothing flows like tears. So don't feel bad about letting go and mourning something and releasing with those tears, but make sure that it is a release. And that you aren't just then filling it up to cry over something like Estefania is doing here. Again, so there's no problems with tears. Tears are fantastic. They're a fantastic release. And the seasonal harvest. So what I love about the seasonal harvest is this. It's a cycle. We are all in cycles. And sometimes when you look at a cycle, like right now we are in December as I am and doing this. So if you're watching this later on, just think about, what does nature look like in December? It doesn't look very promising, does it? The trees are barren. The grass is dead. Everything is dead and it's gone. But you know what? That's just part of the cycle. And a lot of times what we do in the winter months and then going into spring, supports this harvest at the end. So just because something right now doesn't look like there's anything happening, there's a lot of things happening because you're putting it into motion. It's, it reminds me of that saying, like, they tried to bury us, but they didn't know that we were seeds. Well, when seeds start off, like a huge tree starts from a seed, but the first thing that it needs to do is get buried and like pressure needs to be applied in some way. And if you use this in the proper way, then you are going to just blossom and bloom and have something really beautiful and wonderful to show at the end of it. So that is the reading that I have for you for Release Group 1. I think the most important thing when we're thinking about release is the intention and just really the decision that, hey, something is not working for me. I am going to let it go. Like, realizing that you're feeling trapped is your own trap. That you can walk away, step away, and move towards something more productive for yourself at any moment, because you are the world and you can create your own hopes and desires. You just need to take that bold step and put yourself out there to do it. So I hope this was helpful, Group 1. Thank you very much. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, Group 2. If you picked the Rose Quartz, you are in the right place. Let's take a look at the cards. So the first two cards I have for us is Earth and Empowerment. What I want you to know, like, grounding yourself is important to empowerment. And you are empowered no matter how you may feel at this moment. If you are having these thoughts like, I can't do such and such, I can't do this, I can't do that, we really need to investigate the origins of those things. And if it's something that you want to do, change that around to an empowerment message, because you can. You have the ability in you. Earth. The frequency of Earth activates our deep connection to the physical plane by showing us the beauty of all the aspects of our Great Mother and revealing the more ethereal, spiritual aspects of our nature. So I love this. I talk a lot about grounding yourself and getting connected with Earth, with the Earth. But this card also talks about your connection not only with the Earth, and let's see, I'll show it to you a little bit closer here, because these are sacred geometry on these cards, that it's, yes, we are connected to the Earth. I mean, that's where we live, but we have this greater connection to each other, to nature, to our higher self, to spirituality, to the, this like unknown about ourselves, like this consciousness that we collectively have, and we are connected to each other. So why it's in this reading about letting things go, I think to remind yourself that you are not defined by, sometimes we get into these limiting beliefs and define ourselves, and you're not defined by that. If you decide to change your mind, you can. You can define yourself in any way that you want, and in a completely different way, and that does not change your higher self. This, and actually it probably connects you to your greater higher self, because you're going to define yourself in a better way, in a non-toxic way, if that makes sense. So this empowerment, the frequency of empowerment, supports our ability to show up fully and completely, uniting us with others in the deep trust that we are all connected through the same source. So both of these cards are very connected about talking about source and our higher self and something that's bigger than us. So that if we have this higher self that's really, really fantastic, because we all are very fantastic beings, then something as small as a ridiculous belief like, I can't cook, I can't run, I can't do these things, you look at yourself from a higher perspective and be like, why do I believe this about myself? Why do I believe these things? Why do I believe when somebody defined me? I don't let other people define me. Yes, we're connected, but I define myself. We're connected with everybody else. That's true, but that does not mean that they have power over you. You're the one who has power over yourself, and that's empowerment. All right, so let's look at the rest of these cards here. The Hanged Man. Okay, I love this card. It's a really great card. It's looking at something from a new perspective. And I love how I was talking about your spiritual self, like looking at yourself from the eyes of your spiritual self. Do you think that knowing you are a part of the fabric of the universe, that you are connected with the power that creates worlds, that you should believe something as ridiculous as I can't cook or I can't do a particular thing? No, this is looking at yourself from a new perspective. So do that. Also, like a situation, maybe you need to look at it from the ground up. And this is also kind of taking a time out and just kind of like, okay, I'm going to relax here for a sec as I look at this situation from a different point of view. Next, we have the King of Cups. So the King of Cups is someone who is emotionally balanced. He is on his own island here, and he like rules over his emotions. He is basically the quintessential father figure, where you know that he loves you, but he's not overly emotional. And that may be something where you need to get in control of your emotions a little bit. To step back onto your own island. Your emotions are a guide to how you see the world. And if you're in a situation or with a group of people or a specific person that makes you feel really negative emotions, anger, jealousy, there's a reason for that. You need to look at why that's happening and step back. And I also like how the king here has this like telescope. He's like moved back, looking at it again from a new perspective and really evaluating if this is something that's serving him any longer, if he should let it go. And then we have the Four of Swords, and the Four of Swords is a stability number. When you think about a chair, it has four legs. It's a stable number. And the Four of Swords is taking a break, taking a rest, being careful with yourself in a way, letting yourself rest. That if you, and I think you might need a rest here if you're getting this, your emotions being guided here by the King of Cups. You might be really emotional and there might be some sort of upheaval that's going on. That, again, take a step back, rest. This Hangman is also a rest position. And if you do that, look at this. You have the Sun. The Sun is one of the most positive cards, okay? This one has a black unicorn on it. I like the black unicorn here, kind of resonating with the sun. That almost like a third eye, this new way of seeing, which is lit up with the horn here, that you're going to find this path. Like the sun is an illumination. You can see everything clearly in the sun. It gives us everything too. It gives us warmth. It gives us growth. It gives us direction. And stepping back from your situation, you're going to find that. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles is a new beginning. And it's a new beginning in the form of a lot of times financial or health. But this is very positive. Like these 3 cards are kind of like, hey, let's reel it in. Let's take a break. Let's look at something from a new perspective. Let's meditate. Let's ground ourselves. Let's just breathe, right? And once we do that, we're going to find our direction. And our direction is going to be something brand new for us. It's going to be, we're going to find this thing that we're looking for when we let go of these, whatever our belief is or whatever that toxic thing is that is no longer serving us, this baggage that we're carrying. When we look at it in a new perspective, we're going to let it go, and we're going to be able to be so much lighter and go off in a new direction in a new way. And then we have she who is wild, untamed, wild, mysterious. So this, if you're like, I don't really feel like the King of Cups, I don't really feel like I'm on my own island over here, isolated by myself, that's okay. I feel like these 3 cards are just to get you through this moment. And once that happens, then we have this wild, untamed. We have she who creates, creativity, originality, spontaneity. And then we have Jocelyn, she who persists, perspective, defiant, persistent. So this perspective over here, you're going to just run with it and be uniquely yourself. I almost feel like right now you aren't living your authentic self for whatever reason. Like if you're at work and you're pulling back on your creativity because somebody is jealous of all the great ideas that you have, if you dress down for some reason, like you really want to be like kind of out there, but you got comments or something, and so then you are kind of like, oh, I don't know, you're rethinking who you are. That is on them. This reminds me of a woman recently who, she has her own YouTube channel and she does travel stuff. And she was talking about how she and her husband do this, and she was driving her husband crazy because she was getting these comments about her appearance, and they were positive comments, but they were also like super creepy comments. So she was rethinking how she was dressed, the camera angles, things like that. And the thing is that is not her baggage. Like once she starts letting that drive her crazy, like she needed to look at this from a new perspective, from the perspective of, if you wouldn't take advice from a person, don't take criticism from them. So if somebody criticizes you or makes you feel criticized in some way, sure, any normal person would kind of evaluate that and look at that. Is this really what they say it is, right? But if you are happy the way you are and you're wildness, in your originality, in your untamed nature. This is you, why hide it? Let that comment be on that person. Don't let them define you. This empowerment, there's an empowerment in the release of that, and release of that judgment that isn't your judgment, right? That is on that person. Let that go. Cleansing body and spirit. So I really feel like this is just that relaxing moment that you need to take, that reflection, self-care, making sure that you get enough water, making sure that you are just taking care of yourself. If you need a moment of pause, take that moment. And that's kind of what these 3 cards are a little bit, this moment of pause, and just cleanse yourself and let some things go. We're letting these toxic beliefs go. And then we have this affirmation for growth card, which I really feel is so connected with the earth. Once you let these toxic things grow, then we open up a space for new things, for new ideas, to grow ourselves. This is planting seeds. This is taking care of that. This is knowing that we're investing in our future selves, that we are attracting new prosperous things here. I love that this really very much reminds me of Pentacles, and we have this Ace of Pentacles, and this is just being your authentic self and being happy with that, and letting these negative comments or these toxic people or these toxic ideas go, and just living your best self, and it's going to pay off for you. You're going to grow something very beautiful out of it. So I hope this is helpful, group 2. I think that's all I have to say. Just remember that you are the sun here, that things are going to illuminate for you, and the only person that gets to define you is yourself. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video. Hello, group 3. If you picked the black obsidian, you are in the right place. I feel like this is small, but it is mighty. So we're closing old doors of negativity and allowing new doors to open. And let's see, we have remembrance and Gaia. So remembrance, the frequency of remembrance supports our memory of everything that we have gone through as a soul in body, providing us with valuable information and tools to flow gracefully with and in this life. This is also talking about not just like your childhood, but possibly past lives. It's really interesting, remembrance with past life information. Sometimes we meet somebody and we're just so connected to them that we feel like there's some connection from somewhere else. And a lot of people believe that it could be from a past life situation. Sometimes those relationships are positive and sometimes they are not so much. Sometimes they could be like a karmic relationship. Something that was undone or left undone in a past life. Sometimes, you know, we have a relationship and we feel like, you know, when they talk about that feeling when you see somebody, like you just have this spark, like you just know them, or that spark of recognition, right? That's kind of this remembrance, but it could be remember them because they were terrible to you in a past life. And then you're kind of connected to that idea that, oh, but ow, because there's terrible to you in this life too. And you're just like, wait, why is this so bad? I had this, like, there was like this electricity when we met. It was like we knew each other forever. Well, sometimes that's not a good thing, okay? And somebody needed to hear that. Gaia. The frequency of Gaia reminds us that we are infinitely connected to one another, just as we are to the great mother, and they're talking about Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, and to the universe that birthed us. Oh, okay. So bigger than Mother Earth. So the just our connection to the universe, that we are bigger, a reminder that we are bigger than this life. We are bigger than ourselves. We have this soul to take care of ourselves. And sometimes we get stuck in like these really stupid little tiny things that upset us, that bother us, that really shouldn't. And it's kind of just a reminder that we are bigger than what we are right now, right in this moment. And we have the Four of Pentacles. So the Four of Pentacles is a really, if you're feeling stuck in a rut, yeah, that's this Four of Pentacles, that you may be kind of just sitting here. This is you sitting on your fortune, just not moving anywhere, just not going anywhere, not experiencing anything, just like, I am just going to hang out right here. And in the terms of this reading, where we're talking about releasing toxic ideas and toxic things and toxic people and toxic relationships, this is a little bit of a pack rat. Like, you might be a little bit of an emotional pack rat right now, that there are things that need to be cleaned out, picked up, let go. So let's discuss some of them. Okay, and then we have Temperance, and Temperance is about balance, moderation, patience, purpose. Now there is kind of, let's look at both of these cards, because it's both are kind of stagnant energy if you kind of look at them, but Temperance is getting ready for something. Temperance is balancing things out. She is reflecting on things, right? Where I don't think that's happening here in the Four of Pentacles. I don't think it's a very healthy rut that it's in. So Temperance, somebody said they thought it was the most boring card ever, and it could be. But she is definitely in a better position than the Four of Pentacles, where you're just all bottled up and all just held in this rut. Like, Temperance is thinking about that rut. She's thinking about releasing it, and she's thinking about what she can do next. And then we have Justice, which is the card 11. So 11 number might mean something for some of you. What I love about Justice here, you know, they say justice is blind, but Justice isn't blind. Justice actually sees everything. Justice is about karma. She is about fairness, cause and effect. That's our Justice, okay? So if you're in a situation where you don't feel like something is working out or something isn't fair, don't worry. Justice is working there for you. But Justice is about balance too. There's scales here, and sometimes you have to be really, what do I want to say with this? Sometimes we think things are unfair and they really aren't. So you have to be really objective with yourself with Justice, because there are other perspectives out here. And like I said, she sees everything. She sees every perspective. So you might be like holding back, waiting for karma to really bite somebody in the butt. But from their perspective, they're doing what they need to do for them. So it's looking at things from like a higher perspective, from your soul perspective. Then we have Two of Wands, and I absolutely love Two of Wands because these three cards are very stagnant energy, but Two of Wands, it's not really moving anywhere yet either, but it's going to. It's future planning, it's progress, it's decisions, discovery. You don't really see it on this card, but most of the Two of Wands cards is a person standing there with the world in their hand. And Wands is passion. So where you are in this rut and Temperance, trying to now balance some things out with some moderation, inject some passion. Like, what makes you passionate? What do you want to do? And making this plan while you're just kind of hanging out of what you really think about, what you want to do and where you want to go, because guess what? You can get there. You can guide that. Now we have the Queen of Cups, and I love this card. She's actually moving, where most of the Queen of Cups cards aren't. So the artwork on this, if you can see her, she's kind of got her back to something, because she's a compassionate and caring person. She's emotionally stable, but she also trusts her intuition, and she knows where she's going, and she knows where she wants to go, and she's turning her back on things that no longer serve her. And she's doing this, she's using her intuition to decide that. And she's just in the flow. So yeah, you might feel like you're in a rut. To get out of that, you need to start thinking about where you want to go, because this Four of Pentacles is just letting life happen to them and kind of reacting and being in a really defensive position, where the Temperance and the Justice are moving out of that. And that's going to allow you to plan and then be this Queen of Cups when you're gonna go someplace. And you are a compassionate and caring person, but that's compassionate and caring about yourself first. So if you have to walk away, do what is best for you. Be compassionate and caring for yourself, and then project that, and you will attract that from other people. And then we have Pearl. Empower, uplift, elevate. When you empower yourself, when you uplift yourself, you elevate other people, and you create kind of like, people can look up to you and see like you're in this position, and they love that, and they can do that for themselves. Or you get yourself to a higher position so that you can help others. A rising tide raises all boats, kind of thing. And then we have Makita, she who sees, observe, perceive, scrutinize. And I feel like this is really connected to that Justice card. Like I said, Justice is not blind, Justice sees everything. But you do it from objective perspective. I forgot objective here for a second. So observe and being objective. I love this card too. When we're talking about being objective, seeing things from your higher self. And she's got this mask on, but it has eyes here. And she uses those as a new way to see things, and seeing them from an elevated perspective, like pulling yourself out of this emotional state that you might be in, from you just sitting here in this rut, seeing things from a higher perspective, like, why am I just sitting here when I don't need to be? This is also when you are in a situation with another person, kind of seeing it from their perspective too. And that might make a difference in how you see things with the Justice. Looking at things from all around. But it's also about protecting yourself. That's what this mask is. She can pull that mask over and protect herself as well. And finally, we have she who radiates knowing, ambition, and confidence. And I don't know if you are feeling very confident right now, but you should be. Once you do this work, this balancing, this observing, this looking at things, looking at your situation, and going to empower people, that you should have like this you should walk with this fantastic confidence. She looks very, very much like this Queen of Cups here. They both kind of have the same, like, yeah, I'm walking away from this situation. I'm protecting myself. I have the confidence to do that. I don't need anybody else to validate what I'm doing, because I've looked at the situation from all perspectives, from a higher perspective, and I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to actually go on to empower other people. It's pretty interesting too. I'm just noticing this, that the like progression here, that as these 3 cards on the bottom progress, like she gets more into the light, more walking into the light here on her face. And then we have Sun and Stars and meditation for creativity. So I don't know if you're really feeling very creative being over here in this 4 of Pentacles, but injecting some creativity, which is really the 2 of Wands, is about passion and creativity too, can help you move out of that. What is it? You know, asking yourself, like, what is it that you really want to do? You may have this, I keep using this example, you may have this thought that I can't cook, but you really want to cook. Well, why do you think that you can't cook? Because you tried something once and somebody told you that you can't do it? Well, that doesn't make any sense. You know, Bobby Flay probably failed so many times than you ever tried, and he's an amazing cook. So passion and or meditation for creativity, cooking, painting, drawing. What is it that you really want to do? Investigate those things. It's out there for you. And Sun and Stars. And I like this because I always think of the Star card and this kind of like observation. You know, we've got this telescopes here, you're observing the stars, but you're looking at something from like a higher level. You know, when they talk about seeing the forest for the trees, like sometimes you're so close to a situation that if you back up from it, that if you're really objective about it, that the situation completely changes, that it's completely different. And that's what the Sun and Stars is about to me. And also the connection that we all have to each other, because we're all in the same place. We all live on this earth. We all observe the sun and stars. And it's interesting too that when we look up in the sky, a lot of times we see different things. Ancient astronomers can look up in the sky and they can see like really vivid patterns. You know, they can look up at a couple stars and they can see Leo the lion, something like that. So that is definitely really creative to me. And I love that. And I love like what came out of that. And it's really amazing. I mean, it's something that we look at and use today, astrology. So group 3, this rut that you're in, you don't need to be in it. You've got so many great things, and explore moving out of that. Explore whatever toxic beliefs are keeping you in this spot through your passions, and be objective when you're looking at something. Like, why is it that you feel like you are stuck here? What belief is it that is keeping you stuck? And it could be something that completely surprises you. Could be something like completely random. And I gave this example in my intro, if you watched that. Like, I had this belief that I can't do push-ups. I just uncovered that, like, really random belief. And it's keeping me stuck in, like, if I develop some upper body strength, that's going to alleviate some pain that I'm experiencing right now. So I'm like letting go of that limiting belief. So everybody's limiting beliefs are different because we have all experienced the world differently. We've all experienced things differently. We've all had people tell us different things at different times that we've decided to internalize. And that's what I really think that Justice card is about. Evaluating those things that we have been told, and is it really true? Does it really serve us? Or do we really need to just decide that, you know what, this is not serving me anymore. I'm just going to walk away from that. So thank you, group 3. I hope this has been valuable for you. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.